Okay, so let's touch base with fixed income market straight via FMDQ exchange place, where Constance Onya, who is a treasury bills dealer at Access Bank, is joining us for this conversation. Good morning, Constance. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you
Yeah,
too.
hope you had a great weekend.
I did. You?
Yeah, I did as well. Thank you so much. This is when it's a monetary policy committee meeting. I'm sure everyone's ears go up a little bit. What's the idea? What will these folks do as far as the fixed income space? Would there be rate reduction? Would there be rate cut? Would there be a tinkering? But we've seen a few monetary policy tools by the central bank in recent times trying to move banks to lend more and all of that. What's your take on the meeting starting today?
Okay, I can see that in the fixed income space, there's been a bit of a bullish run, and then we've seen rates as low as 11, cutting from 12%. With this, I think the CBN is actually they're already achieving what they want to achieve. Inflation rate currently is at 11.22. We also have the reserves at 45 billion. I think there won't be much tinkering with the MPR. I think the rates will just remain where they are. They'll probably hold it because the FPIs are also comfortable at these levels in the secondary markets and the rates at which the treasury bills are running right now. If you cut the rates, I think the rates might be too low, and then you might just have FPIs move out of our market. But currently, I think there will be holding rates just to keep attracting these guys in the market.
And so that they can keep the boats steady, as it were.
Yes.
Yes. So, are you preparing for Wednesday's debt auction, the reopening of those 3 tenor papers by the DMO?
Okay, we saw like a bullish run as well in the bond space. We saw that the demand a little bit was on the 2028 bond and 2030 billion. I think that the government will the markets will remain active. I think the rates would remain currently at the levels where they are, 14%. I don't think the rate will come down at the auction. Actually comfortable at this level, and I think rates are just going to stay here.
One of the papers being reopened by the DMO is a 30-year paper. I think 2049, 55 billion. That's the biggest of this monthly auction. Why do you think the DMO is pushing for the long end of the bonds that we have, of the sovereign?
DMO is for a long time. They don't want to borrow the mature like almost immediately, so they want to have to use the money they'll borrow for a very long time for the capital projects they intend to carry out with it. So I think they are just comfortable issuing that 55 billion and that 20 for that 30 years, so that they could actually achieve what they need to achieve.
Very interesting. Okay, we'll see how all this plays out. Thank you so much, Constance Onya from Access Bank. Thank you so much, Treasury Bills leader. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. And see you pretty soon here on the show from FMDQ Exchange Place. A lot of news out of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. This is the season. Once you cross from H1 to H2, then you have a flurry of company information. We call it trader news, or the news box for the marketplace. And quite a lot are still coming through in terms of those earnings, corporate adjustments, whatever, announcements of board meetings and dividend payments, and those who are early birds. Temple Ashaju is back here for our final lap of the show and to wrap up. Thank you, Temple. Back. What have you been watching since we started the show about less than an hour ago?
Well, that's basically what you just hinted now, the fact that a lot of companies are, dotting the I's and crossing the T's on their financials, H1 2019 and, of course, Q2 2019, seeing how to make that available to the stock exchange. QTIX just notified the stock exchange of its readiness to also make its unaudited financial statements available. You talked about Unilever earlier. That has also come in with similar approval, talking about the unaudited financial statements that will be made available on the 30th of July, and for all the directors and insiders to also comply with the rules guiding such transparency or disclosure rules in the stock exchange here. The fact that until 24 hours after the release of the numbers, they won't have to trade on the shares of the company going forward. In terms of what Unilever is also doing, we understand that at the meeting which held on the 18th of July, they have also approved of the proposal to kind of rewire some of their industrial assets. Whatever that means, I know a few years ago they talked about, selling up the spread business. That's kind of generated some kind of concerns among shareholders. Perhaps this meeting that they had last week also relates to approval to eventually get that side of the business, that segment of their business, fund off eventually, Bosun.
Yes, I'm trying to understand the rewiring of industrial assets and a cost base. Yes, they want to reduce costs. They need to drive competitiveness. So everybody understands that. So I need to pay a little bit lower in terms of for their products. They have a basket, a portfolio of products there. Spread is one of it. But they talk about rewiring industrial assets. I'm sure they need to do something with their assets in terms of how they make it more effective, how they turn it around, how efficient these industrial assets that they will have, they currently have. If you need to rejig your industrial assets to make sure that they are better performing. But again, this will come at some cost. I'm sure that's part of what they're trying to achieve. But I'm surprised, Temple, I'm not sure if you are, that we're getting first half 2019 numbers from industrials like Cadbury and Unilever and others. And the big banks haven't yet reported yet. GT Bank, Zenith, UBA, Access, they haven't stepped forward.
Yeah, because they're usually the first to do that. They're usually the first to release their numbers. I'm surprised too, Bosun, that they haven't actually made that available at this point in time. By now, you would have seen numbers released from Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank. They're usually the main leaders when it comes to disclosure of their financials, in the market. But perhaps the whole issues we had earlier in the year, the whole election, brought about some kind of delays, in business transactions for them. And of course, the fact that we haven't really seen much activities in the economy is probably, bringing about this drag, in the system. Well, it's a new week, and we do hope that the numbers will start trickling in, especially from these financial services firms, and in fact, the oil and gas companies, because it is also traditional of the likes of Forte Oil, to come first with their numbers into the market, and you get the reaction of a lot of investors quickly, positive reactions most of the time. But we understand that in the case of Forte Oil, because there's been some kind of transition in that company, that's probably, contributed to the drag that they are having in releasing the numbers. So, well, it's a new week. Let's stay positive and see how things go. We just have to be optimistic, boss.
Yes, and back to Deep Capital, we talked about this company, and it's in everybody's crosshairs. You need to be interested in when companies come back from purgatory, when they're back from the dead. Technically speaking, you need to be interested. It's not often that a company goes down and it comes back up in the market. So that looks like resurrection is real for those who believe in that. Now this is coming through that there will be a 6 years outstanding annual shareholders meeting of Deep Capital, which will be held in Lagos.
Yeah, which I think is one of the reasons why a lot of the executive directors, non-executive directors that were, suspended earlier were brought back, so they can also contribute more to the transition phase that they will actually get into at this point. Recall again, they have to convert some kind of outstanding 1.6 billion naira debt owed to creditors, non-bank debt in this case now. They have to convert that to equity in that company. It is an investment bank. These are folks that started the business, that got it listed in 2007. I think they started in 2002 or thereabout, became listed in 2007, and then they got into these issues between 2013 till date and all of that. So the transition phase now needs to be seamlessly processed. And of course, these guys that also know the history of all of the businesses and all of the deals that have been done will be the ones to be able to help, consummate the whole deal eventually. Given the fact again that the investors those individuals that were the creditors to Deep Capital PLC have also gotten their profile, I think, from SEC now, or basically regulators, to now stay on the board till 2024. So it's something that traders, they are watching and they're happy about.
You are watching it. I'm watching it. Our business is to watch on behalf of our viewers. Thank you so much, Tempo Ashaju, our business correspondent live at the NSE trading floor. Let's leave it there for today. Tomorrow is the big day as far as the monetary policy decisions are concerned. So I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday, the 23rd.